please remember to leave a like, a comment, share the video about, and if you haven't already, subscribe. Thank you. Well, isn't this just fantastic? Captain's log, subdates 231024.6. The low IQ is having a truly remarkable effect on the NPC crew by making them somewhat marginally smarter. Not so smart they'd plot a mutiny, but smart enough they'd ask for additional trebuchet treatment, which we are more than happy to give them. Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be responding to some body positivity, because we love excuses here. That's what you often find with those who champion what they believe body positivity to be, but in reality what they're championing is an excuse for them to do sod all. On the face of it, that seems quite harsh, but that's okay. We have a 5-minute video to go through. This could take a while, I'm not entirely sure just yet. Before we start, I'm just going to say, if you go into life, adulthood, believing that the very best version of you is the one that settled, the one that chose selfish wants over that of what the body truly needs, you failed at life. That, on the face of it, sounds again quite harsh, but it's true. For many, life is not about settling. You can now be pedantic and say, oh, but what about settling down and having children? Actually, that's not settling either. That's merely reducing one aspect of one's life to create more life. It's not settling, it's another challenge. And I'm being pedantic now. You're welcome. Anyway, let's go through the video and see what this individual has to say in response to a comment, because that's what TikTokers all do when they respond. They only respond to the negativity to make their grandiose points.
Ooh, I love this question. I love it. I love it. You might not be asking in good faith, but I'm going to give you a good faith answer because I think it's important to talk about.
The answer to the question is, it can be body positive to make a weight loss journey, because you have taken your weight loss journey as a way of enhancing the positivity towards the body you would want to have, or a change in your life that would lead you to live a different life that wouldn't be as restricted or health risked as it would be had you retained the weight you are seeking to lose on your weight loss journey. So why can't it be body positive to make a weight loss journey? The answer is, it can be. In fact, it is. But it's not just about body positivity that leads some to go on a weight loss journey. Some just do it because they are sick and tired of being fat, or because a doctor has ordered them to lose weight.
And to make my stance known, because I think a lot of people can get confused.
I mean, you've already made the argument of people asking questions in bad faith. I think if anyone's confused, it's the person looking to use fancy terms that they don't understand.
And I'm going to say something right now that a lot of you are probably not going to like, and I need you to hear me out.
I was so tempted to make a fat joke here, so I thought I'd let you know, and instead for audience participation, what would you put here in the comments down below? Funniest one gets pinned.
Intentional weight loss is based in anti-fat bias.
Wait, anti-fat bias is a thing? I thought we just called that normality. A lot of people are against fat people because it shows laziness, excess, selfishness. In fact, you contribute quite a number of negative human traits to those who are fat. Is it anti-fat bias? If we're going to be really funny about it, sure, why not? But is that a bad thing? No, it really isn't. Because being fat is not good for you. Therefore, it cannot be championed as a good thing.
Ooh, okay, all right. Breathe. This is a very nuanced thing, however...
No, it's not. It's only nuanced to those who are themselves overweight and want to make excuses for why they are overweight. You could simply lead, instead of making excuses with, it's none of your business why I'm overweight. But because a lot of people on social media who are overweight champion body positivity, or a perverted version of it, they like to use it as a way of deflecting the criticisms surrounding their health that is going to be inherently in the negative at an expedited rate to that of somebody who is typically slimmer to them.
Take any reason why somebody might be pursuing intentional weight loss, and it is based in anti-fat bias.
This sounds like a way of trying to conjure up something inherently negative from reasons that may have influenced people to lose weight, or go on what is called a weight loss journey. I prefer not to call something that. It's a nice, cute phrase, but I think the idea of acknowledging it as a change in lifestyle sounds healthier and also not inherently negative. But then you will say that is anti-fat bias. Fat is not a good thing unless we're hiding inside a creature to stay warm during a snowstorm, or if we're having it with our pork belly. Otherwise, generally it's not that great. Although I will be clear, I don't really eat pork belly. It's too fatty.
Number 1, it's for my health. Anti-fat bias in our society tells us that pursuing weight loss will automatically make you healthier, and that is false.
You are right. It does not automatically make you healthier. In fact, going on a diet is incorrect already. It's a lifestyle change. If you commit to it truly, you give your body the chance to be healthier than what it would be had it stayed fat. Your mobility improves. You'll find that the stresses placed on the body had it retained the size it was at diminish. So does it automatically make you healthier? No. But committing to it does improve your health compared to that of what it would be had you stayed bigger.
Number 2, I just feel better when I lose weight. Okay, well, do you feel better because of the lost weight, or do you feel better because of the behaviors that you're pursuing to lose weight, or because of the better treatment you're receiving in society because you have lost weight?
There is a lot to unpack in number 2. So the statement, I just feel better when I lose weight. Yes, there is an endorphin release, a catharsis. Sure, you work out, your body feels the stress, the strain, the effort you put in, the hard work because you know it's paying off. You are getting physically stronger, or you are reducing in mass and fitting in clothes that you've always wanted to fit in. The next part, do you feel better because of the lost weight? Yes, you do. Do you feel better because of the behaviours you're pursuing? Yes and no. It's a strange statement. Do you feel better because of the behaviours? Almost like you're looking down on those who look after themselves or are seeking to look after themselves. The last one was better treatment because of society. That will play a part as well, of course, but that won't be one of the key motivators compared to that of simply being better for yourself. In fact, body positivity is supposed to champion acceptance for all shapes and sizes, right? What's your issue with those who wish to change their shape and size?
Number 3, I look so much better when I lose weight. I don't really think I need to explain that, do I?
Beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Some people do find those are larger to be more attractive than those who are thinner. Not necessarily the extremes of skinny and then super morbidly obese, of course not. But again, there is always going to be someone that finds that attractive. I like the idea of my body, my choice. But the fact you're trying to break down one's influence as to why they want to be slimmer than fatter is fascinating.
4, I'm experiencing back, joint pain, and I need to lose weight in order for it to get better. Studies show that it's not actually the lost weight that potentially matters here, but again, the behaviors you're pursuing in order to alleviate that pain. And studies also show that movement overall lessens joint pain.
I like that you say studies show, but you don't provide any, so arbiter of truth, by all means do tell me more on that. But the reality is, when you reduce the weight presented on the joints, the discomfort can diminish if you are young enough. As you get older, of course, that pain is never going to go anywhere. It is a consequence of actions. And there are some surgeries and there are some treatments available to help with that. Back pain is quite common with those who are super morbidly obese, for example. When you lose the weight, take up yoga. It will help you immensely. And when you go to the gym, do back workouts. It really helps.
Thin people also experience joint and back pain, so it might not be related to just weight.
Multiple studies show, according to the Arthritis Foundation, that losing weight results in arthritis pain relief. I'll link the source down below. You're welcome, because I actually know what I'm doing here.
5, I'm being told by my medical professional that I need to lose weight for XYZ reason.
Well, they are professionals. Some do, of course, just push pills. That's called the American healthcare system. But here in the UK, if we're advised to lose weight, we're advised to because it is better for us to lose it. They are the professional, and of course, by all means disregard this as an appeal to authority fallacy. It's not like they spent decades in the medical profession and have seen people like you come and go, die before them as well. But listen to the excuses you're about to get, because this is mwah, 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 mwah. Oh, it's delicious.
That is a function of medical fat phobia and weight stigma in the medical industry.
Weight stigma in the medical industry. Now that is a very fancy, convoluted way of saying, I have an ace in the hole. It's called the king excuse. Queen excuse if you're female, and of course if you are an alternative gender, by all means, your gender pronouns excuse. This is experts with decades of experience and research that they get their hands on, because the medical field is always changing, understanding that being your size is not good for you. I was meant to be applauding when I did that, the claps after every word. Yeah, I cocked it up.
Now, Does that mean that you're a bad person if you are pursuing weight loss? No, it does not.
So why'd you bother explaining the rest of it? Is there a but coming in here somewhere? Because I feel like there's going to be a but somewhere.
Again, as I said in many videos at this point, everyone has bodily autonomy, and so if you believe that weight loss will make you happier, then you should pursue that.
Okay, but you still haven't really discussed whether this is a form of body positivity or not. I feel like you're segueing away and around, like a politician not giving a direct answer. You're trying to give a direct answer, but then you're realizing you need to provide all the context for why something may not be how it could be. But by doing so, you are confusing the viewer and yourself.
Especially the last one, because it is important for fat people to receive medical care. And if that is being withheld, and you feel like weight loss is something that you can achieve in order to receive that medical care, then you should do that. Our society does not make it easy to be a person that has a identity that is deemed as undesirable.
It's probably because, and this is going to sound a bit strange to you, I have no doubt, one has issues dealing with surgeries of someone that size because of the strain already placed on organs like the heart, which could be contributing towards the health conditions. If one requires surgery, one has to get the dosage for sedation and medical care correct. It's not as easy with someone that's bigger. In fact, you can think of it like those who have diabetes. In the summer and the winter, insulin isn't quite the same, the requirement for it. So some have negative reactions in the winter for the same dose they'd have in the summer. The body doesn't appreciate it in the same way, or it requires more or less. It's very important to get these kind of things right. When people have similar body types, it is easier to work with them. Less desirable if someone has to be taken to a zoo to be weighed, or to get them out of their home they need a crane. I know they're extremes, but it is vitally important to acknowledge here, if you are too big, there are complications, and they can be attributed, some can be attributed, to the size of your body.
And so weight loss might be the only way that you can receive proper care and treatment in society, and that sucks.
It depends on the context. See, you provided context for earlier things, but you didn't in this one. You alluded to, with the very stony delivery of someone who doesn't agree with it, but there are some surgeries that you need to be a bit thinner to receive. You really do. Again, complications are quite common with those of the more extreme size. I don't know why this bothers you so much, or why it sucks, because it is a consequence of a selfish choice. That might seem really cold, like earlier with other things that I said they're a bit harsh, but reality is harsh. It has to be harsh so you can understand you cannot be treated the same in all instances. I believe in equality, but I know there are limitations when it comes to medicine.
Weight loss might be the only way that you can achieve validation from yourself and others, and that sucks.
This, I can agree with you on. If you seek to validate yourself with this perfect idea of what your body should look like, you're setting yourself up to fail. If you base it on other people, chances are you're also going to fail. There is no such thing as perfection. There really isn't. And if you base your life around the views of others, you will falter, and you are proving yourself to still possess a level of shallowness. You should simply want to do it to be better. Nothing more really. Maybe be stronger, but that's still a part of being better. Yeah, if you want perfection, you'll never achieve it. If you think you have, don't worry, I'm here to tell you now you're not. You will never be perfect, only Fulgrim is.
And all of that is totally and completely valid. But what we need to remember as a society is that it is not possible for everyone to just lose weight to receive better treatment within society.
I'll be honest, that statement works with many different types of people in many different walks of life within the society you live in.
It is not possible for everyone to just lose weight and feel better about themselves.
So there are two statements there. They're not necessarily mutually exclusive. It is possible to lose weight, and it is at the same time possible to feel better about yourself. It is possible to lose weight and not feel better about yourself. It is possible to not lose weight and be okay with yourself. And it is equally possible to not lose weight and not feel better about yourself. But that is dependent on the individual, their mental health, which does take a knock quite easily. Humanity does have an ego, if you hadn't noticed.
It is not possible for everyone to lose weight and experience better health outcomes.
This, on its own, is true, but that does not mean you should stop trying. Think John Cena, never give up. Or if you would rather not think of John Cena, think the Power Rangers, who regularly give up, but say they never give up.
And ironically, that's why the body positive movement was originally founded. Body positivity was born out of the 1960s civil rights movement and started and originated with the works of black, fat, queer women in order to advance that cause.
Isn't it a shame, considering the era that movement you claim has come from? Because I don't know the history, I'm going to assume you're correct. Isn't it a shame, though, that what that then stood for is what is now being utterly perverted and used as an excuse to be lazy, as opposed to what people fought for in the 60s, 70s, 80s, maybe a bit more as well, in America especially.
Now, the movement has become incredibly whitewashed and incredibly diluted from its original purpose.
Is that a good or a bad thing? Because in the context of what body positivity is supposed to be, I consider it a good thing. An origin story does not mean it has to stay with one race. I do believe that, much like definitions for words, movements need to adapt, adjust, and be more inclusive. When you say whitewashed, you treat it as if that on its own is the pejorative, a negative. Should there be a body positivity for white people, which would be considered racist? Because white people?
To the point where fat people and people who hold identities that are marginalized are then pushed out of it. And body positivity has become more about self-love and feeling good about your body. And while that is important, that does not do anything to advance care and concern for fat people within society.
I think you'll find humanity doesn't care, that's why. There are a lot of people who do care, of course, but generally speaking, humanity does not care about each other. You hear that people get behind their nations a lot, they get behind their communities a lot, but you're shitting on white people and slimmer people. Why would they want to support you? You want to be inclusive and nurturing and asked to be respected and treated on par with others, but to do so requires additional resources and also requires you to do the same. Never expect nor demand respect. What you're doing here runs a smidge counter to that.
That doesn't do anything to erase the stigma that fat people face.
You'll find with every different body type, every different subculture of society, you'll never be able to erase the judgment that comes organically from humanity. To portray yourself as a victim will not help the situation. If you want to be empowered, if you want to be elevated or championed, you are asking for preferential treatment again from a society that does not care about anyone. It's remarkable really how political lines are drawn by people within society, yet the vast majority unknowingly seem to favour no lives matter.
Within the body positive movement, we see a lot of centering of bodies that are, by and large, pretty much accepted in our current society. And the reason why they have insecurities, the reason why they may not feel good about themselves is ironically due to anti-fat bias in our society.
What's fascinating to me is you speak of body positivity as if it's solely about fat people. I've seen catwalks that had people who were disabled, various different limbs missing or body malfunctions. I don't know how to describe it. Disabilities, that's the word. Malfunctions, oh jeez. You know what I mean though, that is body positive. I've also seen ones with plus-sized models. And I say plus-size because they weren't too extreme because they could actually walk down the catwalk without starting to perspire after a couple steps. I think it's vitally important to accept humanity comes in all different shapes and sizes. BMI is highly inaccurate, for example. However, you are not as much of a victim as you might think you are. You're just too isolated to realise, because you're more than likely an introvert, to realise that society, while trying to appear like it cares, it still doesn't. You are no exception to any other culture, any other grouping. Society does not care.
Ableism and racism and all of these systems of oppression.
Since you like using fancy words, I will use the word that adequately explains how you cannot compare any of them. False equivalence. You cannot compare the oppression faced by the fat people from anti-fat bias to that of ableism, sexism, racism, various religious intolerance, homophobia. The list goes on, in fact. How about megophobia, where you're afraid of Meg? I think this is highly unfair. Society needs to get on board with me.
So while a weight loss journey may be a journey to find some sort of self-acceptance and self-love, it is not necessarily rooted in the causes that body positivity was born from.
Oh, would you look at that? You finally got to the point. And in doing so, your way of skirting giving a definitive answer was to say, but what might inspire you now doesn't fall in line with the origins of the body positivity movement. Nice. That's cute. It feels like a form of history revisionism. I like it. It's quaint. and dull.
The message that body positivity was originally created for. And besides all of that, a lot of body positive content creators used to have messages that more closely aligned with the original body positive movement.
Do you remember when I said earlier that definitions change over time? Yeah, this is applicable here. It turns out movements have to change and adapt with the times so they can maintain relevancy, or because the original message no longer aligns with the modern day values. There are, though, a few movements in existence in the West that have never changed, either because they are very much set in their ways or because they couldn't keep up.
But once that stopped becoming popular or more mainstream or profitable, a lot of them have switched their tone and switched their messaging.
That's also not surprising, because they would have been bullied to high hell because body positivity has been perverted by people like yourself who just want to be lazy and refuse to admit it. But also, they go where the most popular message is. As time goes by, we creators especially, we change what we do because we want to be better. We try new things out, we cover different topics. I've never championed body positivity or the fat acceptance movement. The reason why is because I fundamentally disagree with it.
Including partnering with a company that has been so incredibly detrimental to a lot of fat people.
I feel like that's aimed at particular creators, but I don't know who, so I'm going to reply with the following. I assume the companies in question happen to be gyms.
Okay, so if you're still here, thanks for listening to all of this. And just as a disclaimer, this page is about fat liberation.
Do you not think you're already liberated because you're able to go through life making these poor choices? You just want to continue to do so, knowing that there is zero consequence on your end for those bad choices. Forgetting here, we teach children at a young age this is not good, but the moment they become an adult, we have to empower them. Seems a bit contradictory, don't you think? I don't believe society should champion at all bad decisions from people who want to be continually elevated, even though it's a strain on us. I say us, I weigh nothing compared to you, alright? If there's any liberation for fat people, surely you've had it for years, because things like ready-made meals, fast food, these things exist and in abundance in many countries to accommodate for those whose gluttony knows no bounds.
I use the body positive hashtag and the fat liberation hashtag together, conjoined, because I want people to realize that they are supposed to be conjoined. But I do not identify with the current body positive movement.
Of course you don't. You're a contrarian sat on their couch. Also, I don't believe you'd want to identify with the body positive movement even if it was on its original form, since you pass as a white woman. That's not what it was meant to be in the origins, right? So what's the point of you even making that comment? Beyond using it as a point to then say, but I do identify with fat liberation. There's a reason we don't see many fat liberation protests, by the way. The joke is fairly obvious. I'll refrain from making it.
I believe in fat liberation, and I stand for fat liberation always, forever.
You told a lie in that statement, but I'm again going to refrain from making the obvious joke because of it. I do believe you've made your point about body positivity and why it cannot apply and can apply, but the real reason is it can't apply because the only thing that matters is fat liberation and not you on a weight loss journey. You further prove the point that humanity doesn't care because you made every excuse for why fat liberation should supersede everything else or be on par with that of racism, which is hilarious. Use funny.